All right. Okay. All right. Breaks are good. Breaks are good. You gotta have some breaks. That helps a lot. The thing is, it's just like Gary in the end of the last segment. It's so hypocritical. I know in some of this drama video to Brett Keane, which I actually think is valuable because I think the meta and the drama is interesting. It's not as valuable as doing something really important in the world, though, Mr. Glib. But it's interesting, and because, the conversation is important, it tells us something about that. And you were saying something about how people fuck with your reputations. Right? And I think you were specifically talking about how you've been called a Holocaust denier just because of your, let's say, odd views on how all that shit went down. You can't seem to remember that, though I was around all that time, I never have taken part in that. On the other hand, your ideas are a little bit questionable. Now, I'm not taking, I'm not saying you have to give me credit for that. I know that you are not a really strong character on things like giving credit to people that don't take part in that kind of thing. You're just focused that some people did. Okay. But it's still quite hypocritical to hear you try to explain to me as if it's a calm voice thing. Well, let me explain to you, Piero. The thing is, it's just when you're dealing with a Nazi, I'm not a Nazi. You're a terrible, shitty hypocrite to be uh, when you've been through this, but you're going to call me like a Nazi. That's why you can't work on IRV. No, you're a Nazi. There's suffering immigrants, and you want to do shit all about it. So go ahead, hypocrite.
I'm going to be tainted by the dirt of these people. And what I'm saying is your idealism will destroy the practicality of democratic politics. If you're going to sit there and I know you're holding this grenade in your back pocket, this gun, or whatever, this light, okay, this light to hope for progressives of I want to open borders. And it's just a game ender. It's the end of the conversation. You just blew up any hope we had of getting in the door. Okay, it's like getting into the 21 Club or something. And you've got your NASCAR magazine in your back pocket. And the guy.
That's hysterical. Okay, so the metaphor is we're in line trying to get into a fancy club. Me and you. Do we have any girls with us? I mean, I'm sure my wife would want to come. She likes fancy clubs.
It's going to see that fucking thing, and then we're done. We're not going to get in.
What an asshole.
Saying that we will not work on something we both agree is good. Because of other things that we aren't going to work on together. I guess since I won't help you.
Well, again, you're just not understanding political reality. What I'm saying is that's exactly how you fail politically, is not to recognize that your closest ally can be your biggest liability. Now, if you don't understand the fact that an ally can be a huge...
Yeah, you, for example, is a huge liability. No, I recognize that, but I say fuck it. Fuck the part of the mathematics where I'm supposed to worry about that everybody else thinks Gary is a crazy hermit and I shouldn't be associated with him. I don't give a fuck about that. You should appreciate that.
Liability. I mean, a gigantic liability. You can be in partners, have a partner in business, and he's a huge fucking crook, and he can ruin you.
Nobody that worries about what it looks like to talk to a particular person, to give them time to even talk to them. Nobody that cares about that is talking to you, Gary.
Your life. I'm just saying that, yes, the impracticality of your idealism, your whole robots are going to help everybody, and this is all going to happen, but all of that pie-in-the-sky crap is exactly what makes people who have any kind of reasonable understanding of what our problems are, which is this unaccountable spending, this inability to ever add up a number rationally. Yeah, that's going to just mean we're never going to get elected. We're not going to win an election because every time we're close, you're going to sit there and open your fucking mouth with some sort of woo-woo bullshit, and we're not going to get in the door.
Really? Because I'm a Bernie supporter, and I think he would have done better than Hillary, so I just think you might have not gone out in the world enough beyond New Jersey.
Change the game, and you're going to end the game.
On anti-natalism.
It's never been about anti-natalism, so again, that doesn't have anything to do with any of these conversations. I mean, as much
Yeah,
as I
it
care
does.
about anti-natalism or ephilism, more importantly, as a character issue in itself.
No, you're lying to yourself. Yes, it does. You don't even remember what your tirade was. You just have them, and then you don't bother to remember them. No, your tirade was about how I'm killing everybody and torturing people in the world because, why? The only reason is I let them be born. How do I let them be born? By not being all against it. I'm pro-choice, so I'm creating it. And that is an anti-natalism thing. There is no other thing you can say that I'm for that. You're the one that's for, hey, you suffering people in Syria, fuck you. We don't want to risk our comfortable lives here in our homes.
Subject. I don't have any expectation. You people, frankly, yes, you're way too stupid to get something that rational. But that's not a politically viable issue, so that one doesn't...
Well, I might be stupid, but you're vile and mean.
Really matter at this point in time politically. But yeah, there could be a point where it becomes important enough where yeah, I'm not going to tolerate a disagreement on that subject. I can't do that as a practical matter now. There's no value to doing it now, to segregating based on that lack of performance. It's like I'm in the Republican Party and I've got Nazis running around. So yeah, the Klan members aren't quite as bad. I got a bigger problem of the Nazis in the party.
It's not worth working together on.
So I'm like the Klan, but not quite as bad as Nazis or whatever. You're an idiot.
IRB or Stop and Trump or anything else. That's good. You're not taking.
It's not about working together. I mean, it just depends on what you're defining working together as. Again, I'm saying your inclusion in a party platform is too risky, too much of a liability. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, if it's done in
Well, when we make the party platform, I don't suspect that I will get a majority of votes on my side, so I wouldn't worry about it being in the party platform. But what's interesting here is from a guy with his own Ton theory, totally unconventional, not a mainstream thing, and you want to push that, but you don't think it's okay that somebody might think the border should be open, even though you have democracy when you're voting on the platform. Uh, you don't even want anybody around that says that. Well, you know what? I think that's Democrats and their fear of also of socialists and a lot of things. They're scaredy little scaredy cats and they don't want to be associated in the wrong club. That's why you're losing. And it is you too, because you're the right wing, you know, don't like immigrants, don't like foreign smells, don't like, rah, 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 rah. You say you're against suffering, but all this political strategizing you're showing us here is exactly why people are suffering in the world. And you won't let those people stop suffering, and you won't change the policies. You don't want to change. I'm not criticizing that you can't. You don't even want to change these theories that are leading to this suffering. And yet we're supposed to believe that you have a philosophy that gives objective credence only to suffering and directly to suffering. When in reality, it seems like you just don't give that big a shit about it. In reality. Reality includes people suffering in this devastation in Syria. You could easily alleviate that. There can be no doubt about that. And you don't want to. You're not saying, oh, we can't alleviate it. You're saying, I don't want to. It's going to cause a problem for me, an inconvenience. My standard of living might be low. You know what? I know my standard of living might be lowered. It's worth risking. Because suffering's bad, okay?
in the circumstance of let's go there together. Like I said, if we're going to 21 Club independently, I don't got a problem, but we're not doing it independent.
You say.
Well, we are doing it independent. You help not at all with any of the political stuff I work on.
Something like IRB is important, but you're not taking it seriously enough. But we get to worse things. Your whole claim of superiority is a big joke.
Whatever that means. So this is an accurate paraphrase. I have some claim of superiority. In what way exactly? In the way that, I believe that I have rationally defended my philosophy and that I'm correct. Yes, I believe that.
Moral superiority. Anti-nihilism.
Again,
Yeah, that it makes you morally superior. Exactly. I'm glad we agree.
and I don't even like the word moral superiority, so I don't know why you would accuse me of having something to do with being a morally superior person. So that's sort of irrelevant. I guess I would say I have logical superiority. I have evidence superiority.
Is likely a pipe.
Well, that was a reply to you saying you can't deal with me because I'm so morally inferior. You see, I sense in that another way of putting it, which is that you're morally superior. See, when you call somebody super inferior compared to you, it's not just a guess or a slight implication. It's a material implication that you feel more superior. Yeah, you didn't know that? See, I didn't think you were in denial about your feelings of superiority. So that's interesting. So this is at least as valuable to the world as you talking to Brett Keane, me talking to you.
Irrelevant to my view of the game to be played and the reason to play it. So it doesn't matter. You could say something's a long shot. It's a necessary shot, so this doesn't matter. There's no game to play at all if this doesn't get fixed.
Right, at best, it's a long-term idea. And there's people suffering in the world right now, Gary. You use this idea as a pipe dream, not as a long-term plan.
Well, again, so that would be your characterization. Again, this is why we can't really work together because we have a completely different vision. So I would agree that you're going to look at there's people
We can't work together on antinatalism.
suffering right now. Yeah, well, they're suffering right now because no one fixed the condition in the first place. I existed because no one gave my mother any kind of rational advice when she was a young woman. So she, did what everybody else is doing, and everybody she did what the establishment says is the right thing to do because nobody would be.
We can't go back in time, right? So these are people that are suffering right now. And there's things we can do right now. And none of them are go back in time and fix it in the past and make their mothers not give birth to them. So since you spend so much time spinning on things like that you and I both know they can't happen, but you still spend time word threading through it. Yeah, that's glib.
Anti-establishment. So again, the very thing I'm doing is the very thing other people weren't doing then, because I'm in the business of preventing it from happening again and happening over and over and over again. And we can talk about malaria or world hunger or any of these subjects, and yes, it's likely we're going to fall on exactly the opposite side. I'm going to say.
Well, you're just recapitulating what I'm claiming is that you have this whole line of since you are trying to make it not happen again, you're covered. Meanwhile, it's happening right now, suffering, which is an objective negative, and you do not advocate doing anything about it.
They spend the money on a cure, you're going to say spend the money on a
At least
mandate.
you haven't said anything.
That evidently enables you to have attitudes that prolong the suffering of other people.
Well, that's your accusations. Another accusation made by Piero that won't be defended with a single shred of evidence. Not a single shred of evidence that your policy of, yes, give the poor people food so they can have more babies and that'll fix world hunger because eventually someday the robots will take care of the problem. Your unrealistic, undocumented evidence of how your solution is a solution when it never has been a solution and it never will be a solution.
No, you're now switching the goalpost to a solution for all misery. A solution to all war. No, I'm saying, you say suffering is objectively bad, anybody should be able to see it. I see it. I see it in Syria. The Syrians need to leave Syria. Turkey's taken millions of these refugees, from what I read. We could take more. We're wealthier. We could afford more. But we won't do it because of people like you that don't care about their suffering. You don't care. You can't say you care about their suffering and all you have to do to prove it is before them being able to come to the U.S. when you aren't for that.
Your daydreams about nest building
disgusting.
will never be realized. You're never going to build a fucking nest. You're just going to keep advocating that people lay eggs in shit.
Right. So, you on your high mountain, that's what antinatalism is.
You guys, does everybody see what he just did there? It's exactly what I said he's doing, right? Instead of, confront him with the shame and guilt of not wanting to help Syrian refugees, and he's like, boom, antinatalism rant, bang, got that covered, bow. Nothing more needs to be said about their suffering. He won't even, on his own, go as far as Trump of like, well, we'll make a nice camp for him over there that'll protect him. Because at least that's like, hey, I got another idea about how to prevent their suffering. How about this one? No, he won't even do that. He's just like, fuck it. Antinatalism, ultimate solution, boom. People suffering, I got it covered. No, I'm not going to do anything about it. I don't mean I have their suffering covered. They're going to keep suffering. I have my position covered. Boom, morally clean. Because I would solve that in the long run. And I would go back in time and solve it long in the past so that it wasn't a problem now. So, fuck you, potential refugees. Because you're not refugeeing near Gary and Mendham in his rich county with lots of extra money and TV sets in rooms people never even turn on. No. You can't have any of our wealth. Please. Yes, suffering's objective, but, comfort is objective too in the sense that I'm not suffering. My non-suffering, also objective. I'm Gary Mendham. I don't suffer, you suffer.
Concept is war for you.
Well, again, you're still not even up to speed. I'm not an anti-natalist. I'm an ethicist. Okay, I think the very nature of this stupid, competitive, idiotic, evolutionarily controlled bloodbath is moronic. Silly, stupid donut chasers torturing each other for nothing.
The ladder that you climb up.
Oh, yeah, I did miss that. So I knew you were an ethicist, but I thought that was a kind of antinatalist. See, this is why I talk to you, because of these useful learning moments.
On that mountain, we don't have to do anything but look out at the suffering and go, I said it was all bad, therefore here I am at the top of the mountain.
Right, so that's what you're saying I'm doing. I just went to the top of the mountain to gloat. See, I told you so. That's what I'm doing, asshole. So again, these paraphrasers in some way to encourage me that there's some reason for me to see some violence.
Okay, so just to be clear, yes, that's what I'm saying. You went to the top of the mountain to gloat and not dirty your hands with Syrian refugees.
Ability and fucking being an ally with some asshole who can't even paraphrase me correctly ever. Fuck you. Over and over and over again, as appropriately stated. Fuck.
Yeah, exactly. You think I'm holding out hope that you're going to suddenly become reasonable?
You.
So, I wasn't asking you to respect the friendship. I believe you should treat people you just...
I'll be totally clear. Don't talk to me at all, because I'm just going to use you now to make a point that grinds every one of your ideas into the dust. That's not the goal. That'll just be the result. The goal is to spread actual information, because I'm 49 years old now. 7 to the 7, baby. I don't need to deal with your bullshit, but I will if I find profit in it.
discuss things with an ethic that actually goes beyond friendship. You can get away more with a friend, actually.
Whatever, it's YouTube. Again.
It's YouTube, baby. It's YouTube, Jake. Baby, it's YouTube. It's Chinatown.
And I don't know what the nature of the disrespect is. You're the one who called my physics. Are you going to go play the old videos? You trivialized it. You called it idiotic. You called it nonsensical. You called it millions of things. You never even watched the fucking videos, and you critiqued it. And then you're going to tell me what a friend is?
I watched a bunch of your videos. You have like 40 hours of it. And I've watched probably 10 or maybe even 20. You greedy bastard.
Fuck you. I'm saying you're the one who crossed the line 500 times before I crossed the
No, not fuck me.
fucking line, okay? You beat any kind of hope I had in you being at all useful out of me with your fucking bullshit.
I'm just
I accept that.
asking you to admit, if you're going to talk to me, that I'm honestly trying to present terms, and yeah, they're...
No, you're dishonesty claiming proof when you don't have it. You keep doing it. Yeah, Jefferson's a rapist. You use this exaggerated language. You don't take any. You don't pay any attention.
Yes, but I think when you're a kidnapper, see, here's how that goes, Gary. Thomas Jefferson. I believe all slaveholders are kidnappers. No, it's just slavery. Yeah, it's a kind of kidnapping, and the fact that they had friends all over the country, that the kidnapping criminals were in control, and said, hey, you could kidnap, well, not anybody. The Romans, you could kidnap anybody, but we're liberals. So you can only kidnap black people. Then you can make them do whatever you want. Chain them in your basement, whatever. And that sounds like kidnapping to me. And if you fuck one of those people, then that's rape. And he did that.
Into any kind of context, you just throw things in pigeonholes and fucking label them, and yeah, it's bullshit. Okay, it's bullshit. You don't have proof for what you claim
But I never called you a white supremacist.
to be the facts.
Difficult. And if I'm wrong, fine, I want you to call me on that. I want
No, you don't. Every time somebody calls you on it, you do this shit.
to have...
Oh, man. I was supposed to watch the next... No. Stop! No, don't do that. What the fuck?
Making a video. You Mendham video.
No, stop.
Anyway,
I'm not watching this shit. Yeah, Mike, there's a long history. I've been talking to Gary for a decade, and then in the last couple years, not as much, but I did stop on my way to my new home and see him in person, and he's been in rooms and stuff, and then, but it does go back quite a way. Quite a ways. All right. Well, he's got another one of these, but I'm definitely going to stop streaming, start another one if I do at all.